Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for to be here today. I continue to believe that the legal business dealings of private corporations should not be the subject of yet another hearing of this subcommittee, and that we should be more focused on the pressing issues I hear about every time I go back home. It's skyrocketing inflation, it's the price of gas, it's groceries, a historic border crisis, the safety and security of their families. At the same time, I have nothing but praise for the PGA and the LIV golf programs. I'd love to see opportunities for our young adults to do other things than play video games and be on social media. I think golf is one of those things that any young American can get out and enjoy. It's become a communication opportunity for businesses. I'd love to see the competition out there. I know many fans prefer PGA and others prefer the LIV format, the music and the upbeat nature of it, more of a team concept as well. And I know many of the players like this opportunity as well. When I go back home and I think about home again and why this hearing might be important to me, though, is of all the things my dad couldn't stand, it was a hypocrite. Someone for saying one thing and doing another, or trying to pull the speck out of another person's eyes when there's a log in your own eye. So my first question is for Ms. Shea. Human Rights Watch, the organization you're representing, believes that gender identity is an integral part of ourselves and should never lead to abuse. First question, at what age would Human Rights Watch believe that a child should be exposed by an adult to sexual content in schools? And secondly, does Human Rights Watch believe it is child abuse for an adult to encourage, perform, or administer hormone treatments, transition surgeries, or double mastectomies to minors?
Thank you for your question. I cover Saudi Arabia and the UAE exclusively for Human Rights Watch, so I am unfortunately not in a position to answer your questions, but I will speak to my colleagues in our gender and LGBT division and get back to you with an answer.
In general, has Human Rights Watch supported those types of endeavors, to your knowledge?
As I said, I cover Saudi and the UAE.
I understand that, but you have no knowledge on such a critical issue of human rights that you don't know what your own organization represents.
As I said, I'm very happy to check with my colleagues.
So you have no knowledge whatsoever of what the Human Rights Watch position is on this issue?
As I said, I will check with my colleagues and I'll get back to you.
So you do know, but you're not going to tell us what their position is?
I cover Saudi Arabia and the UAE. And
you've been coached well. Human Rights Watch is opposed to the Florida law, so you do know this. They're opposed to the Florida law, the Parental Rights and Education Act, which prohibits instruction about sexual orientation and gender identity in kindergarten through 3rd grade, and required that such instruction be age-appropriate or developmentally appropriate. Recently in Florida, it was discovered that books across several counties were in violation of the law, including the book Gender Queer, which depicts graphic sexual content. Does Human Rights Watch believe this kind of content is appropriate for young children to see in the school?
As I said, I cover Saudi and the UAE, and my research concerns the human rights abuses that are associated with the Public Investment Fund. I'm happy to go back to my colleagues and provide you an answer in writing.
But you do acknowledge that the Human Rights Watch is opposed to this Florida law?
As I said, I cover Saudi and the UAE, and I'd be happy to go back to my colleagues. I'm part of the Middle East North Africa division, and my research is focused exclusively
I wasn't here for the rest of the hearing. What exactly are your human rights concerns with Saudi Arabia?
We have deep concerns over the Crown Prince's human rights records.
Specifically, can you tell me specifically what those are?
Absolutely. The Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has overseen a historic, unprecedented crackdown on freedom of expression. Just last month, I mentioned previously that we documented the mass killings of migrants and asylum seekers with explosive weapons by Saudi border guards. We found that if these killings were part of a deliberate strategy by the Saudi government to murder migrants, it would constitute a crime against humanity. A few weeks ago, I also documented a case, Mohammed al-Ghamdi, who was handed down a death sentence based purely on his peaceful Twitter activity.
So I'll just close with this. Again, I think it's the pot calling the kettle black. We have our own administration cracking down on freedom of expression, censoring many thoughts through all the COVID situation as well. I just feel like we're a hypocrite when we're sitting here and we're not holding all countries on an equal standard. We pick and choose who we think is violating human rights. So again, we need to look at a mirror and take care of our own constitutional rights and protect them as well. Thank you so much.